Hi, welcome to Bake Basement Banter. I'm Debbie Friedmann and I'm the director and choreographer of REEFER Madness.
Hi, I'm Leo. I'm the set designer, prop master, and hair and makeup designer as well.
So yeah, you're wearing a lot of hats. You're wearing a lot of hats in this show. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got into each of those different things and what past experience you have in those things?
Okay, so in set design, it's my first experience. I've never done that before. Before, I've been costume designer, I've been props master as well, producer, yeah, many others, but never.
Lots of other roles. So what's it like stepping into something you've never done before in this show?
It's really something that I like because I'm really into interior design in general. I've always been, and like aesthetics of a space for me has always been something that I would really take care of. Like would be really detailed and thought.
Yeah.
So it's really nice for me to work on space for once.
Yeah, and you chose this gorgeous couch that is our home for Big Basement Banter, which we love. And this show in particular, working in the main line. One thing with the main line that I find really interesting, but I'm really curious from a set designer perspective what it's like, is you're working in a thrust theater, which for people at home who don't know, basically means that there's audience over here, there's audience over here, there's audience over there. So when you're designing the space, you have to think about exactly what everyone's seeing. So like normally kind of like you imagine theater, like they're in front of you, either they're above you or they're below you, and that's kind of the two perspectives you're used to working with. Whereas in this space, it's very different because there's audience on all sides.
Yeah.
How are you finding working with that kind of sightline in that kind of space?
Yeah, it was an additional challenge.
It's a little additional challenge,
Yeah, when I visited the main line, I could really picture how, like, I even tried, I went to a Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I went to which was for me the worst seat on the audience to see what was possible, and that's how I could imagine that most of the set would be really back upstage.
Yeah, the way you control space is very different when you have audience all around like that. Yeah, that's interesting. And you're new-ish to Montreal. You
just
moved from Europe. So
2 months ago.
Yeah. So is this your first project here in Montreal that you're working on? Awesome. And what was your last project that you worked on before this, and where was that?
The last one was Tied by a Leg. It's like a vaudeville,
Cool.
Georges Feydeau.
Fun.
In Berlin, and I was costume designer, so we were in a team of 3 persons, and we were working from home as well on costumes that would be kind of Moyen Age stylish, with a very, like a queens and kings kind of style.
Fun.
And so it was really like spacious crinolines that we have to build with like a very tiny budget, which is challenging, but we could make like very nice crinolines with just plastic that you use to cover cables, plastic, a bit rigid, painting them, and some just ribbons to tie them one by one, and the result was amazing.
A true testament to your very smart creativity, which I've already gotten to see a lot of just in the first processes of designing the show, because learners have thrown some challenges at you. Aside from audience being everywhere, what's one of like the craziest things you've been asked for on this production so far, do you think? Like
on this production, REEFER Madness, I think it's finding a way to make joints look like they smoke when there is no fire, no smoke allowed on stage. This is definitely
what was the process like of like researching that or trying to figure that out? Like what did you have to do to like kind of find the right solution or find a solution that fit your design?
Took me a while. I first went through the first option. One time I was in a concert, and my girlfriend at this time was a bit high. And someone was like, smoking a fake cigarette that was like a vape cigarette, but like really in the shape and the form and the colors of a cigarette. So someone was smoking this and gave it to me so I would try, and I knew that it was an electric device, and then I passed it to my girlfriend, and she started to lit it on, and I was like, no, don't do that. And I remember this time, and I was like, maybe I can find something that is, you know, a vape, but like looking like a joint. It doesn't exist. And then I went to, I don't remember, many other solutions, and then I found like a forum between two prop masters, and they were talking about this solution, and I tried, and it's actually easy to do, and it works.
Yeah, it works super well. I remember when you showed me, I was like, that's brilliant. Like it looks so much like real smoke, and it's not. So it's like safe, and like none of our actors are like inhaling anything, because that was like one of the asks I definitely had. Like, which is like, it's so interesting when you're doing a show about smoking marijuana, because it's like a lot of the solutions that exist for cigarettes on stage are similar, but like don't necessarily exactly work, especially with our show where we are leaning into, I think, a little bit of like the satire, I guess, and like making things bigger than they necessarily need to be. So that also, I think, added a little bit of a challenge with the joints, where I was like, I also want them to be not like giant, but big. Do we want to maybe throw a little audience question? So we had actually some people at home send questions along that they were curious about.
Okay.
So,
to perform, oh my God, absolutely none, because I have tried.
Absolutely none.
I mean, honestly, I have tried to be an actress myself, and in just one group that didn't go through because it was the beginning of the pandemic, so we couldn't never play a display.
I'm sorry.
And I think it was really not for me, honestly. Like,
the world was robbed of your talents, though.
No, I'm really someone like a crew member from the shadow, but definitely not in the
not on stage. Of the stuff you've done backstage, what's been your favorite thing to do you think?
Backstage, I think I really liked as well to do the hairstyle and makeup, because it's really a moment that you spend with the comedians, and it's priceless, honestly. When they prepare, sometimes they would like sing together, or I don't know, do some weird, those weird exercises.
They do some weird stuff. Yeah.
And being in the middle of that while doing their makeup or their hair, it's the best moment, because it's out of space.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you on for that role. I think that's going to be like a really fun, especially with this cast. Like they're a lot of fun. So I think it's going to be like really fun backstage pre-show. Like we asked a few of them about that too, and like it's gonna be fun to have you be a part of that too in a way. It's gonna be really nice. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to
it. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking to us.
Thank you.
This is great. Thanks so much.
You.
Awesome.